We're live.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Screencast, your number one source of news and just overall streaming shenanigans. My name is Nick Scarpino. I'll be your host today alongside the movie bros herself, Joey Noel.
Hello.
And
your
of
mic's
course,
super
quiet, Joey.
Yeah, your mic's a little muffled there, Joe. And of course, he only barks twice. Kevin, the big dog, Coelho. There it is.
Can I test my mic with something?
Yeah, well, that sounds better right there. Which mic are you using? Are you using the ones that go to your headphones, or are you using that little tiny one?
It should be the little tiny one, but I'll
That
check
sounds
again
fine.
because sometimes it just changes.
Maybe it does. It has a mind of its own. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we bring this show to you each and every week. Well, pretty much each and every week here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames live. If you're watching and you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Twitch Prime subscription. You can link that, and it's free for you, $5 for us. We'd like that very much to go into our business, but if not, give it to someone that you think is doing a great job at streaming, like Maximum Cortez or Mr. Snowbike Mike or any other people that are out there with talent. Of course, we want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon producer this month, Mohammed. And, well, that's fine. I was going to say, I wonder if we have one more. I can't remember if Greg said we do. Is it Al Tribesman?
I think Al Tribesman is back.
Is he back?
For the month.
For September? That's right, because it's the first week. I was checking off. This is your August numbers. We're just going to give Al a shout out. Al, the Predator Tribesman.
He's back.
He's out there hooking it up, hunting in the jungle. And of course, if you guys want to go over and support this by putting something over on your backs, you can go over to canoffunny.com/store and check out our new stuff, like the PS I Love You sweater and the Super Porty shirt. And Tim mentioned that at some point we're getting a PS I Love You bomber jacket. Is that correct, Joey?
We are. It is. It's really cool. It has the PS I Love You the kind of funny bar kind of symbol that Andy made.
Yeah, the new logo.
The new KF logo, and then it has the 4 generations of PlayStation controllers on the sleeve.
Very cool.
It has a red lining,
it's
really dope.
When can we expect to see that bad boy on the store, Joey?
In October.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you were thinking about buying food for the entire month of September, don't. Just save your money for this amazing bomber jacket. Buy 5 of them. They'll keep you warm while your body slowly dies. Of course, this show is brought to you by Honey and MeUndies, but we'll get to both of those later. And if you guys want to be super awesome, we have an amazing Patreon tier for our fan mail tier this month. It's going to be the exclusive Panda Musk prints of the Kind of Funny Cross Cyberpunk. It's an official crossing of the two, even though Cyberpunk probably doesn't know what's happening, but it is official. It is official.
Yeah, these are the last set of Cyberpunk prints. Finish out the quarter, then something brand new and exciting next month.
Ooh, I can't wait. I cannot wait. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we told everyone we were watching Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure this week. By everyone, I mean we spread it internally. And then, of course, the message got out to you guys. Apologies that we didn't actually tweet that, but some of you guys sent your reviews in. That's very cool. Joey and Kevin both watched at least Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'm not sure if you guys went back and watched Excellent Adventure.
I already watched all of them.
That's great.
Yeah.
We were supposed to watch a Robert Pattinson movie this week for the Nick list, but I say we just do this instead, and then we'll punt that to next week.
Which movie was it? That? I'm just curious because I haven't been even on the show for the last couple weeks.
No, it's fine. It's the movie. What's it called, Joe?
Good Time.
Good Time. Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Which I think you've already seen.
I have already seen.
Yeah, we can do it next week. It's totally fine because I want to talk about Bill and Ted a little bit, and I want to hear some of y'all's thoughts on that bad boy as well. And of course, we can go over some of the stuff we've been watching, and if we want to decide on another movie we can watch next week, that's great. One quick thing though, before we get into the news, tomorrow we are doing the live action Mulan, and I know what a lot of you are saying. Nick, doesn't that movie come out tomorrow? Yes, I have to spend my morning watching the live action Mulan and writing all of the jokes I possibly can in my head for making a man out of you, and then we're gonna go. Just pretty much old school,
I don't think
kind
this
of
is
funny
go well.
reviews. Oh, I'm not doing the plot. We're just going to go through it and talk about what we liked about it. I don't think we're gonna
okay.
It would take me too long to do that in the morning, but we're gonna have some fun with that. So if you guys want to, if you're watching out there or listening out there in streaming land and you want to watch along with us and don't want it spoiled, get up at 9 o'clock in the morning and watch it, or whenever it comes out, because that's going to be the bomb.com. All right.
We're not live recording that tomorrow, so it gives us more time to watch it. So just look on YouTube and podcast services.
We're not live recording it? Okay, cool.
No, because it comes out in the morning, so we all have to have time to watch it. That's going to be, I think that's kind of where we're going with that. Okay, guys.
Too. Just an idea. If you don't like sleep.
No, I mean I could watch it at midnight, but I have a feeling that I would probably pass out. I guess I could split it, but I like to watch it all in one go. I'll probably wake up tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, get myself a cup of iced coffee, and just watch the
Maybe
shit
a
out of
little
some live
bagel,
action
a
drama.
little
A
breakfast
little bagel.
lox or something.
I've been off the bagels for the last couple of weeks because me and the missus have been doing a little bit of a detox. So basically, all I've been eating for breakfast is like 3 eggs with like just a teaspoon of salsa on top of them. And
Ooh,
if it
doesn't sound
looks,
bad either,
Ooh,
though.
that
if it
sounds
looks
good.
like I'm just debilitated with malnourishment, that is because I am. This life that I'm living right now has no hope and no happiness until I can get
No
back to my
bagels,
Steve
no Taco
Balls in the
Bell.
morning. No T-Bell. We have one more week of it. And then, but Kev, I can have meat. So if you're barbecuing, I'm coming. But there's no whatchamacallit? No cheat meal until a 3rd week, and then I can down some Taco Bell, and I'm just gonna get Taco Bell and maybe like put a piece of pizza on top of it too, and then we might do it again for a 3rd week, depending on where we're at up here. All right. Let's go into some news, guys. Unfortunately, the first news story right off the top is a very, very sad one. I'm sure you guys saw this last week, Joey. I know you put this in the Slack, but it's like this was heartbreaking. Chadwick Boseman, of course, passed away at the age of 43 last week due to cancer. And evidently he has been battling that for a while and just kind of pushed through so he could do the Marvel movies and some of the other great work that he's done. But unfortunately, he has lost that battle. And it's super freaking sad. Like it's one of those where you see it and you go, no, that's not right. It reminds me a lot of Heath Ledger. You saw that and you were like, that doesn't make sense, because someone that talented and someone that like fun to watch and entertaining, it should not be taken at that age. It's just, I don't know how you guys reacted to it, but I'm sure it was as sadly as I did.
It was one of those things that was devastating, and also to then find out that he had been fighting this battle for like 4 years.
Yeah,
is also like, wow, like who could have guessed that while they were filming like Infinity War and Endgame, like he was going through stuff. Like
I don't know. I mean,
he wasn't like a huge part of that, but like he has his moments, and also the other movies I think were around that time too, where it's just like, that's crazy. It's just a heartbreaker. And
yeah, so the post that they put on his Twitter, which became, I think, the most liked tweet ever on Twitter, says, is with immeasurable grief that we confirm the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick was diagnosed with stage 3 colon cancer in 2016, battled with these last 4 years as it progressed to stage 4. A true fighter, Chadwick persevered through it all and brought you many of the films you have come to love so much, from Marshall to Five Bloods, August Wilson's Ma Rainey book, several more. All were filmed during and between countless surgeries and chemotherapy. This is like, I'll read the whole thing. It was an honor. It was the honor of his career to bring King T'Challa to life in Black Panther. He died in his home with his wife and family by his side. The family thanks you for your love and prayers and asks that you continue to respect their privacy during this difficult time. It's just unbelievable. It's just
in the chat,
unbelievably sad and heartbreaking.
In the chat, CRS1 is saying Kevin Feige found out hours before his death, apparently, and a couple other people I'm seeing are saying that like Marvel or DC didn't know that he had cancer, which is crazy. That like somehow he figured out how to make that all work.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was probably, I mean, I'm assuming he was hopeful and saying like, keep staying positive. I'm going to beat this thing. So just keep working. And working is obviously a great motivator and inspirer for people. It's crazy because when I watched Greg go through cancer, he kept working as well as much as he wanted to. And when I asked him, I was like, dude, you can pump the brakes on this. You can always take a day off. And he was like, it gives me something to focus on that's positive and good and normal, and not think about this thing that's inside me. And it's super true. Like I totally understand that, but man, I'll tell you one thing, to be able to stay in shape and be able to have that energy, and having people not know is just insane to me.
Yeah.
So
so
that's
sad.
super sad news.
I feel like I haven't been hit this hard by like a celebrity death in a while, and I know it was just like one of those things. I think it was Charles Jacobson. It was that tagged us like in a tweet about it that night. And at first I saw it and I was like, no way. And then I realized it was from like his actual Twitter account and not just like a random other account, and I was like, holy crap. And it
I
was
know.
interesting to see the like evolution of it, of like I have like a standing like girls night Friday night Zoom call, and it
Mhm.
was that thing of like everybody jumped on and kind of like found out about it on that call, so it was just like like layers and evolutions of like processing it and stuff like that. And it's just really sad. And yeah, that he's so young, and like it just kind of puts things in perspective of like, oh man, like cancer like comes for everybody at some point, really, is what it seems like. And like you can have access to like really good doctors and all this money and like still not really be able to beat it. It doesn't really care
He was
who
so
you are.
young too. That's the thing that
Yeah.
terrifies me because I think he was only 43,
Hmm.
right? And that was
Yeah.
when he died, and I'm 40, and man, I am not nearly as in shape as he was. So, oh gosh,
Crazy.
super scary and super heartbreaking. And of course, I can't even imagine what the family's going through. Anyway,
Yeah. And
okay.
another thing, it's like it's what's interesting is like the rumors were that he was
What's
being
up?
set up. I was just saying that the rumors were. Are you guys
Oh, we lost you for a sec. There you go.
okay?
You're
I was
back.
just saying another thing is interesting is like to have such a promising career, because like the rumors were that he was being set up to be kind of the next Captain America now that post Endgame world, where he was going to be a central figure in MCU. Like that's just also like it's cool that he left his mark, and like we will always like remember like I never freeze. That line is so good.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that like there was so much more ahead of him, you know?
And that's the question too. Is I wonder how they're going to pivot now, and I wonder if they're going to bring his sister in, or if one of those other characters is going to step up and become Black Panther, because I think that would be an awesome opportunity for, as a nice kind of passing of the baton for that. It would be difficult for them to recast him.
Sure.
I think it would be fine and obviously understandable. It's not like anyone's gonna be like, Marvel, how dare you?
Right.
And this just like, to me, it reminds me a lot of when Dumbledore died, and they were like, well, we don't have a choice, we have to recast him. Or when, for instance, I think the Oracle in Matrix died, and they were like, we
Right.
just gotta, like, we have
Yeah,
two more
recast her.
movies, we don't have a choice, and so they recast her and sort of
That's
had
funny.
a line. But this, they can't bring just someone in as T'Challa. They have to like figure something else out.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, they have plans and stuff. I wonder how this all changes. And, like, man, this year, like, it's done an interesting number of the MCU where it's like now we have one movie that's been delayed, a show that's being delayed, and potentially another movie that's going to be delayed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out when you in normal times when you have an ironclad plan for like 10 years out, that's awesome. But when in coronavirus times, man, you got to go with DC's plan. Just fly by the seat of your pants and just start making movies, 15 different movies all the time, and who knows if they're going to be made, because it doesn't matter. So the whole, we're all ready for DC movies to either come out or not come out. It's cool. That's what they do. But with Marvel, it must be heartbreaking, because these things are just like, just massive, aside from the personal aspect of it, of being like sad you don't get to work with someone again. But it's like, okay, great. Well, we're looking forward to seeing how that character would progress, and how do we have to shift that now, especially for a lot of people who were huge fans of Black Panther. Like, what do they do now? They have to have that character. How do we fill that in? And again, I think there's obviously options. They're just, none of these are ideal. No one ever wants to deal with this stuff because it's just super sad and unfortunate. All right, let's move forward. In other news, stuff that actually is slightly hopeful. Tenant launched and did pretty well last weekend. Did you guys read this story?
Yeah. Tenant and New Mutants is one of those I don't think New Mutants is gonna be good. I know Tenant is gonna be great, but it's like sucks that these movies are out, and it's like I'm not going to movie theaters to
Can't
watch
see
them.
them, I know.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
that there's drive-in theaters, or at least I saw some of our friends posting in LA that they were watching New Mutants at a drive-in theater, and it's like I should look into that here, but I don't know. It doesn't feel the same without us all.
Yeah,
I
well,
know there's one over by San Jose.
Vallejo-ish.
So here's what we can do. We can all park next to each other,
Sure.
and I'll just occasionally reach over into your car and take your candy. How does that sound?
The idea of like setting it up so that, I don't know, whoever Andy's going with is parked right next to you, and you're just like,
I'm just gonna throw candy at Andy's car.
yep.
Nick's just gonna have one of those like claw grabbers to be able to like get to the next
that would be
car.
amazing. Oh, God, I want to sit in a car and eat popcorn and candy the whole time. That'd be so fun. This story, of course, is over from Variety. It says Christopher Nolan's Tenant launched internationally this weekend and generated a surprisingly robust $53 million debut despite the ongoing pandemic. The sci-fi epic long pegged as the film that would restart movie-going after prolonged cinema closures had the strongest start in the UK, where it made 7.1 million. Tenant launched in 41 international markets this weekend, including France, Korea, and Germany next week. And the Warner Brothers film will touch down in US, Russia, and China. So looks like some theaters you'll be able to see that. I think this weekend coming up, right, Labor Day. So that'll be good for some people. For others, we'll just have to have you guys live tweet it at us or something. I don't know.
When does it come out on video on demand? That's my question. Like, how
that's probably not going to
out?
be till December, I would imagine, if not the new year.
I mean,
I imagine they'll. What's up?
Universal made that deal where it's like 3 weeks or something, right? Where any Universal movie will is able to come out after 3 weeks. So I wonder what kind of deal the other distribution companies are making. And it's interesting that we haven't heard anything about it.
I don't know that they have an ironclad plan. I think their idea was just to get it in theaters first, try to get as much money there, try to generate as much publicity there, and then it could stay in theaters for 2 months. There's nothing else that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to, once it's in there, it's not like there's an opportunity cost. It's either Tenet or no new movies. Mm-hmm. So theater owners are probably just going to be like, fuck it, keep it here till December, because why not? Yeah. But then also conversely, obviously I would pay $40 right now to watch it, $30 right now to watch it. I mean, I paid. We paid to watch Bill and Ted Face the Music, and that's barely a movie. So
why are you so mean?
What are you gonna do? Oh no, I loved it.
Okay, all right.
It's hilarious how we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to talk about it. That, by the way, I can't.
We're gonna do that right after the ad break, ladies and gentlemen. But a couple more news stories before we get to that. Some fun news. A friend of the family here, a friend of the show, Jack Quaid, has been cast in the Scream reboot. We're very excited about that. If I'm not mistaken, I think we have Jack. We're trying to get Jack on We Have Cool Friends to talk about his work.
I believe
in The Boys
he's coming
season
next
2.
Week.
Is he okay? It's scheduled. I don't want to jinx it. But
I think we've mentioned it. We mentioned it on the previous We Have Cool Friends on Mondays.
Very cool. So we're excited about that because I don't know how much we're allowed to talk about Boys, but I've seen some of season 2.
You're not.
And let's just put it this way. I like this show a lot. I like it a lot. If you haven't watched Boys season 1, go watch it. You're effing up if you're not. And Jack is great in it. And I think he brings a nice air of levity and comic relief and sort of some wholehearted sincerity to an otherwise just violent blast of blood right in your face. But this is cool.
Tomorrow.
What's that?
We get the first 3 episodes of season 2 tomorrow.
Oh, right. That's right. That's awesome. Yeah, everyone should watch that show. It's really, really, really cool. And it just continues to be a nice little kind of satire of the superhero concept, the genre rather. Jack Quaid has been cast in Paramount Pictures and Spyglass Media's Scream reboot. In the relaunch of the slasher film, Courtney Cox and David Arquette are reprising their roles as news reporter Gail Weathers and Sheriff Dewey Riley. It's unclear who Quaid will play in the movie. Ready or not, filmmakers Matthew Benetali, Olpen, and Tyler Gillette are directing the new Scream from a script by James Vanderbilt. It's not a real name. And Guy Bushik. Not a real name either. The cast also includes Melissa Berra and Jenna Ortega. Hey, man, I'm into it. Why not?
Give me more Scream.
Why not?
Did you guys watch 5? No, 4. Because
I
heard it
was
good. I heard it was good, but I didn't watch it because
I'd have to pull up a synopsis and see what it was about. They all kind of blend. At one point, they're making a Scream movie about Scream.
I think that's
and then they go to
3.
Is that 3? So that might be the last one I saw. I'm not sure if I saw Scream 4.
I heard 4 was pretty good.
What was it about? What was it about, Kevin? Let's look. We have the technology.
I don't know.
Scream 4. I'll read the synopsis to you guys right now. It has been many years since the Ghostface killer cut a deadly path through the town of Woodsboro. In order to get over the trauma of those horrific events, Sydney Prescott has written a self-help book. She returns to Woodsboro to a book tour and reconnects. I think I have seen this actually. Because this is where they go back to town.
That one was earlier, but maybe not.
This came out in 2011. So we haven't had a Scream movie in 9 years. Hey, we're
Nick,
due for one.
I'm looking at what this James Vanderbilt has written. Now, the last screenplay that he did of note is one Murder Mystery, a movie you did not appreciate very much.
It was terrible.
And then before that,
great.
Independence Day Resurgence.
Yeah, this guy's
also not great.
Here's the thing, guys.
He also did the Amazing Spider-Man 2 and 1.
Great.
You're not really building a great portfolio.
No, yeah, I'm a little scared.
Here's the thing. You don't need to be an Academy Award writer to write a compelling, fun Scream movie. Scream, they're silly horror movies, and they're usually pretty self-aware. And if they bring back some of those elements, I'd be very happy to do that. But if you haven't seen Scream 1, oh my God, it's a classic. You're screwing up. You're effing
Honestly,
up.
I think they're all pretty good in terms of like
2 was a
94
little redundant. It was basically just rinse and repeat from number 1 with a little bit of a twist.
Seth Green's murder pissed me off so much. That's in 2.
Spoilers.
What? No, fuck you. If that's a spoiler, go straight to hell. Guess what?
Spoilers.
The killer in the first one was.
Hey!
Don't ruin it. Don't ruin it for people if you haven't seen it.
They're not gonna watch it.
You know what I've learned a lot is that sometimes
Kevin.
we say things, and then people go, "I've never heard of that movie. I'll check it out." And then they watch it and they go, "Nick, you're a genius. Thank you for being the person to introduce me to the Scream universe. I really appreciate you. Super excited for Jack Quaid."
Not what they say.
You think they're getting Nev Campbell back or no?
Nah, I'm sure she'll make a cameo, right? Yeah, she was in.
She's been in all of them.
She's the main character in most of them. I didn't see 4. I don't know.
Well, I think they're getting Courtney Cox and David Arquette back. So
yeah,
that's great.
you just read that.
Those two.
Oh, did I just say that? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did that. For some reason, I saw the other names. Yeah, so Courtney Cox, David Arquette are reprising their roles. I'm sure Nev Campbell will do like a little... You know, they always do the thing where it's like, oh, we're on a Zoom call. Hey, Uncle Nev or Aunt Nev, whatever. And then that's it. That's all she'll do. So I'm sure she'll do a little something.
I'm looking up her IMDb right now.
I'll tell you right now. I'm calling her right now. She's the killer.
Yeah, it's rumored.
Oh, that would be interesting.
It's rumored she's in it.
I'd be even down if she came back like Jamie Lee Curtis came back for Halloween. And was just like older and I'm like hard, really fucked up.
Right?
That Halloween reboot was awesome.
Now you guys need to help me through it or whatever.
Also, according to IMDb, this is just Scream 5. It doesn't seem like a reboot.
Interesting. Well, Variety called it a reboot. So you call Mr. Variety right now, Kevin, get him on the phone and say, excuse me, your writers are stupid. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Clearly, Screencast is the way to go.
Absolutely.
Another quick fun news story. We have a date now. What the hell happened to my thing?
Mm-hmm.
I always manage to close the one document I need, you know?
Yeah.
Like why would I hit the close button on the main document for this whole thing?
I don't know.
This came from a tweet from their official page. Mandalorian coming, new episodes streaming October 30th on Disney Plus. How exciting for everyone who liked The Mandalorian. How exciting this must be for you all who enjoyed this show.
Should I finish The Mandalorian season 1?
I mean, it doesn't like.
I think the answer to your question is in the question, Joey. If you haven't finished it already, that tells me something.
I personally thought it was really boring, and by the end, I was just like, there's like 3 good episodes in there. 3 fun episodes. I don't even want to call them good.
Arc?
Huh?
Is it just the first arc?
No. Because like the first episode wasn't great, the second episode was all right, and then there's 2 episodes in the middle that were like I think 5 and 6 that were good. But I just it's interesting because I'm kind of bummed about this. Where like I wanted the show to be amazing, and I really feel like it wasn't. And it's coming back, and are we gonna do, some sort of review series for it again? Maybe.
I mean, I'm sure we will, but I think that maybe I might not be the right person to be a part of that. Because I did not like the show at all. I thought it was kind of a waste of time and energy, and I think it was a waste of resources and a cool license.
Now,
And
are you saying you don't
but a lot
want
of people did. No, I mean Tim and Andy liked it, and I think Greg dug it. So let them do that. You know what I mean? Well, you and me will do like something else, something cool.
That like Clone Wars TV show where they're like 3 minutes long. Then the old cartoon. It's supposed to be good.
Yeah. That could be fun. No, I couldn't get in Clone Wars either. Truth be told, the other cartoon I couldn't do it.
No, that's some kids show.
It's just interesting. Anyway, for people who are fans of Mandalorian, and we are not shitting on you for the rest of the episode, congratulations, you're getting more of the show. That's cool. It's more stuff to watch in October, as I'm sure we'll all still be sheltered in place in this living hell.
Yeah, and it's better than nothing, right?
hey man, it's something to watch. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna eat my words when I go, I've got nothing to watch, and I'll just queue up one episode and see. But man, I hope I hope they like looked up the definition for plot, the writers.
That would
and
really
then we're
cool.
like,
And
oh,
maybe
fuck,
also
we
good
should have
acting,
one.
you know what I mean?
Some of the acting was
Yeah,
great. Shout out to Giancarlo Esposito rather, because that guy's badass and he was in so much of this. It's so cool how they introduced that guy like right off the bat and was like, this guy's gonna be the main guy. You know, he's gonna be the guy.
See, it's funny, Joey, because we see him for 2 seconds and he's got a crazy lightsaber and that's it. And it's just like, oh,
spoilers,
okay.
man. Him and Seth Green dying. Jesus.
Joey, Seth Green was probably not in The Mandalorian, but if he
might have been
probably. No,
no,
we don't know what they planned for season 2.
I heard he had a cameo as a trash can.
All right.
So last news story, and this is kind of a fun one. Twitch now officially lets anyone host an online movie party with Amazon Prime. People have been doing online movie parties with Netflix for a while, and I guess Twitch is getting in on it, which is cool. Twitch's watch parties function is rolling out to everyone today, giving streamers and their subscribers around the world the ability to watch Amazon's library and movies and TV shows together. It's not just for families. As long as everyone has an Amazon Prime account, a streamer can host a public movie viewing with all of their fans. Watch parties have taken off in general over the last few months because of Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO, yada yada yada. Although the function will soon be available globally, licensing complications brought on in geographic locations will affect these viewers, what viewers see. For example, shows that are licensed to Amazon Prime in the UK, like Star Trek Picard, aren't available in the United States on Amazon Prime because CBS All Access is just, and this is their words, not mine, a money-grubbing service that's churning out crap.
Have you seen any of the new Star Trek stuff? There's the cartoon show.
No, I haven't watched that yet, no.
Oh.
Is it good?
I don't know. I haven't watched it either. I really want to give it a shot.
I liked Discovery season 1 and 2. I'll stand by that show. I think that was good. Picard, I just thought was just a far miss. I was so into that show for the first episode. I was like, this is great. Watch the second one. I was like, oh, okay.
I don't know.
It's like when you look at the menu, Joe, and you're like, everything just sounds great. And you look at the person's plate and you're like, that looks great. They've got that like stack of French toast with like the berries and all those things. And then you get the French toast and it's cold and the berries are sour. And you're like, oh,
sour berries.
What a terrible. And then you just like, give me a mimosa. And the mimosas are just not alcoholic enough.
Juice.
You're like, this brunch restaurant is terrible. That was Star Trek Picard.
They also had the Twilight Zone, which kind of felt like a bit of a miss too, right?
That was Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone, right?
I only watched season 1, and I thought it was very meh.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. Jordan Peele was like the main host. But I don't know if you guys covered this in the last couple weeks, but Discovery's coming to TV.
Which channel? Like it's coming to cable?
CBS.
Yeah.
Oh,
CBS,
cool.
I
They're
think.
putting it on CBS. That's smart.
Yeah, because they can't film stuff right now, so they need content for the. Yeah, so that's exciting.
I like Discovery. I thought Discovery is fun. It's less of a Star Trek show and more of like it's a little bit more actiony than I'm used to for Star Trek shows, but I dug it and I like the cast. You know what else?
Twitch parties are really cool. Andy did one for The Boys season 1, and I think he's planning on doing one tomorrow for the first couple episodes of season 2. If you want to watch with Andy.
Andy
Cortez. Fun! That's awesome. I know Andy.
Andy Cortez.
I like Andy very much, ladies and gentlemen. You know what else we like? Honey. That's right. We all shop online. We've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free browser extension that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Honey shows over 30,000 stores online. They range from sites that have tech and gaming products to popular fashion and even food delivery. Here's how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine you're shopping for online for one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, and all you have to do is click Apply Coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey searches for coupons it can find for your site. If Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. Let me put it this way. Kevin, I heard about Honey through Kevin and Tim before we even started getting sponsored by them. If there's a thing that can save us money, Kevin and Tim know it and they swear by it. And if it doesn't work, they don't talk about it at all. But they've been talking my ear off about Honey for the last 2 years. And Kevin swears that it has saved him personally and the business thousands of dollars at this point, probably just because he's at least 30 years old and at least has had a credit card since he was 18. So Honey is a service that we use and we recommend you guys using too. Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free and installs in just a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/morning. That's joinhoney.com/morning. Next up, we have MeUndies. Is your undie drawer something to be proud of or a little embarrassed by? How much more fun would it be to get dressed every day if you knew you got to pick from a drawer full of fun and adorable undie prints like orcas, bees, or cherries? I would pick cherries because I like to think of myself as a fruit tree. Nothing from Kevin. Okay. MeUndies, of course, you guys have heard us talk about this all the time. We love MeUndies. Tim is head to toe in MeUndies now. He has finally completed his journey to full-on MeUndies as of last week. They offer such a great range of products. Tim's wearing them. Kevin's wearing them. Greg's wearing them. Greg, if he were here right now, would be pulling them up above his nose. He's so proud of these dang MeUndies. He loves them so much. MeUndies is serious about softness. No, so serious they scour the world for the softest fabric known to man. It all starts with sustainably sourced beechwood trees that magically turn from pulp to yarn to undies that kind of feel like heaven on your skin for comfort from the outside, literally to in. Keep your undie drawer stocked with MeUndies membership, a subscription that sends new pairs right to your door, plus get site-wide savings and exclusive sales. MeUndies has a great offer for the listeners of this fine show. For any first-time purchasers, you get 15% off and free shipping. This is a no-brainer, especially because they have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. To get that 15% off your first order, free shipping, and the 100% satisfaction guarantee, go to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. All right. Back to the show, everyone. Let's kick it off. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a little movie came out called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now, I was a dumb kid, and I watched this movie, and I was just taken aback by how incredibly positive and fun it was and silly.
Sure.
And I was just like, I like this movie. And then Bogus Journey came out, and I was like, there's no way they can be better than Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And I got to be honest, Bogus Journey slaps.
So here's the thing. You rewatching it as an adult, you what did you think about Excellent Adventure? Because rewatching Excellent Adventure yesterday, I was blown away by how fucking bored I was for the first hour.
Really?
Oh my! I was just like, all right, like there's some comedy in the beginning, and all of a sudden it's just like, oh, now they're just going to people, but it's not interesting how they're abducting them or like taking them in. It's just like, oh, hey, Socrates, let's go, and Socrates is just like, and then he goes, oh, Beethoven, cool, let's go, and it's just like,
the thing about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
that's not good writing or anything. That's just
it's silly and it's goofy and it's a goofball comedy, right? They're not trying to take it seriously. Obviously,
so here's
the best joke about the whole thing is that they just keep going from place to place in a freaking telephone booth, and nobody seems to notice or care. You know what I mean? Like at no point, that thing just shows up in the middle of a parking lot. Everyone's like, "That's fine, whatever." People just walking by. No one's like, "What the fuck was that?" I'm terrified. But to me, this movie is just goofy and silly and should be seen and just good fun. And the last time I rewatched it, I was blown away by the fact that I think it still holds up.
So what I want to say is, as a child, I remember loving Bogus Adventure.
Sure.
And I didn't remember anything about Excellent Adventure, but I'm pretty sure I'd seen it before. Oh, did I?
Is everyone froze? Yeah, everyone froze.
Can you still hear us?
I can hear you guys.
There you go. You're moving again. So watching Bogus Adventure, within like the first 2 minutes, I was like, oh shit, this is a much better movie. And like, there's a reason why I loved it. And then I watched the whole thing and it was like, it makes fun of the first movie in such a good way. Like the stepmom that originally was 4 years older than was it Ted? No, Bill. And then had been with Bill's dad and they randomly hook up, which is weird in the first one, but then she's now with Ted's dad and it's like, oh, this is now a joke, and them dying, they ratchet that shit up to 11. I love Bogus Adventure. I think that movie's fantastic.
Really? Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember I was blown away going back and watching them as an adult, and because I remember Bogus Journey being like, it was darker, so I didn't vibe with it when I was a kid. But watching it now, I'm like, oh, this is so much. There's so many more layers in this of silliness. The fact that they call him Station for some reason, which makes no sense or doesn't.
I thought that they were just saying station as like some weird.
It just became it's just that's what he's stationed, and like when they say station, and it's silly and it doesn't make a lot of sense in the narrative, but who cares? Because it's Bill and Ted. You know, the thing I like most about Bill and Ted is just how fun the characters are and how positive they are toward each other. And you know, they have moments of like, oh, stuff's not going our way, but they're just undeniably like, you know, the characters are just undeniably positive and good dudes, and I just like watching that. Even when they're, I mean, for Christ's sake, they befriend Death, and they bring him back, and he gets into their band. It's and shout out to I think it's William Sadler, is that the guy's name? Who plays Death, because he is great. I was
trying to figure out why I knew him, and now that you said his name, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, I believe that's his name, right? William. Sadler.
Joey, before
he
we
was in a teen show called Roswell that I loved back.
He
played the sheriff.
I remember him
never seen either of these.
Oh, really?
How'd you like it?
I was pretty bored through the first one. I was like, oh, the only thing I really care about is the fact that like watching Keanu and Alex Winters go back and forth is just really fun. So I'm like, I like this. I don't care at all about this story. Like, and then I watched the second one and I thought it was more fun. And then I like surprisingly, I think the third one might be my favorite.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Which I feel like is very controversial. Considering people,
but I mean, I don't know that. What's that?
Oh, your mic went.
Your mic went. Say that one more time, Joe.
Why? I just don't have a history with these movies, so
it's understandable. I mean,
weird to watch them like all in a row.
For me, obviously, there's nostalgia there baked in. I mean, Bill and Ted have been like iconic characters since my childhood, and so seeing them when you're a kid. I mean, again, the movie is not exactly. Let's call it what it is. It's not trying to be an Academy Award-winning film. It's a dumb, goofy movie that started from improv of these two characters who are just overly positive rockers who can't play their instruments. I think that was the whole purpose of this. And then the idea of it becoming a time traveling adventure, I think, was just sort of aped from Back to the Future. I think they were like, watch that. We're like, let's play. This is kind of fun. But for me, just to shout out to William Sadler, I remember the first time I remember really seeing him is when he was doing naked karate in the beginning of Die Hard 2, because he was the bad guy in that. And he just plays such a great comedic character in this. Like going into Bogus Journey, I was like, oh, I'm terrified of this guy because he was the bad guy in Die Hard 2. And just starting off crazy, like whatchamacallit, I'm always going to forget the film where the Bergman film where Death plays chess, starting off with that and then coming out and just being goofy and then the character he becomes here where he's like been kicked out of the band and he's just like the egos were too much for both of them, which to me I think was the literal best scene of the whole Bill and Ted's Face of Music when they have to go get him back in the band. It's so good. But let's segue over to that. Let's talk about Bill and Ted Face of Music before we go into any spoiler territory, which I just did. What did we think? Let's go around the table. Joe, what did you think of Bill and Ted's Face of Music? No spoilers.
I thought it was really fun. I really like the introduction of the two daughters. I think that they play really fun characters. I love just their dynamics and like the fact that they are named after each other was also just very perfect for me. The music, all of that stuff, I don't know how much of this is spoiler. I guess none of this is spoilers, but all the like musical people that they go back and find were also very great. I had a really fun time with it, and I was not expecting it, considering I was kind of like, meh about the first one, and like okay about the second one. I was not expecting for them to get me back with 3, but they did.
Kevin, what'd you feel?
I really enjoyed it. It's like rewatching all of them together was fun. Well, I mean, like the first one, I had to just get through. But seeing the way they like tied in 3 with all of them, and like the way they end the story, I really enjoyed and was like, oh, like I mean, I saw it coming. Pretty far in advance, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, this makes the universe that they built make more sense, kind of. But I just thought that the humor was there too, and like, Death is such a great character.
I had a good time watching this movie. I don't think the movie itself is like, I think it's barely hitting the mark of a movie that belongs in the trilogy, just from a production standpoint, like a production value standpoint. At times it feels a little like it's dipping into that sort of USA made for TV feel, or like a mid to low tier Netflix original. But I think the fact that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter kind of keep the energy going the entire time. And then of course I think that's mirrored in Samira Weaving and the other actors that play the daughters. I had a good time watching this. Now I watched it with Dee, who did not have a good time. She was like, "This movie is terrible. You understand that, right?" And I'm like, "Yes, I fully understand that this movie is absolutely terrible, but it's fun, and that's all that a Bill and Ted's movie needs to be. When you're making a movie about two guys who are, for the most part, idiots who don't know how to play instruments, but then are tasked with saving the world by writing a song and traveling through time, you're going to get silliness. If you're not on board for the silliness, just get out of the car, go over to Andy's car, take all his candy, and then just smear it all over his window so that on the ride home, he gets in an accident.
I'm glad you're over the ants thing, though.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was coming back, Kevin.
I know.
The ants thing is
There's a
coming
reason
back.
why I keep bringing it up.
So I know, right? So that's kind of where you're at. Like, if you watch this movie and you have zero context for Bill and Ted, I don't think you're gonna like it. I think you're like, this is just bananas and doesn't make much sense. But if you have a nostalgia and you come in with that, it's fun to see the story kind of end, even though it sort of ended in Bogus Journey already, and they just were like, well, we'll make one more. Why not?
I think it's so funny that Bogus Journey ends with and the credits showing a bunch of news clippings
reels of how they did it.
And then they incorporate that into this, leading to the whole the band breaking up with death and all that, right? I really like that, and the hand waviness of it, the fact that at the end of Bogus Adventure they come out and they're like, this what
we're going to go into spoiler territory now, people, just so you know.
Well, I mean, this is just bogus Adventure.
I'm just saying right now, we might just we might say some stuff that's spoilers.
Okay, go and hide. Go ahead. At the end of Bill and Ted, they come out and they're like, "This is Bill Jr. and Ted Jr." You know, and it's just in this one they start out and it's like, "Oh yeah, those were girls." They just still named them Bill and Ted Jr. And it's like that makes total sense because they're idiots.
I love that. I love the conflict between them and the princesses of they just don't separate from each other ever. Yeah. And so Bill and Ted are just Bill and Ted. There's no Bill and then Ted. It's Bill and Ted. They live next door. They married the women, and for all intents and purposes, they're living basically a life just the four of them together, and the women have had enough. Because not only that, the guys are kind of losers at this point.
Well, I like that there was also an understanding of the amount of pressure that they had for
to succeed, to do the song.
Exactly. There was so much responsibility thrown on their shoulders, and this is where we also get introduced to the idea that maybe what's his name, George Carlin, yeah, right, the comedian.
Yes,
had it wrong and had misinterpreted whatever it was that happened in that time, and that's where you now are being introduced to his daughter and his wife, who are kind of in charge this time. Rest in peace, George Carlin.
R.I.P. So I think that I liked the elements they drew in, and again, I think this for me was entertaining. Again, they knew what they were making here. This is a movie that's an hour and 30 minutes. It could have, in my opinion, used another 10 to 15 minutes to really flesh out some of the stuff, but then why? Why? What are we going to get out of it? Why bother? Because at the end of the day, it's just about silliness. And, again, we're in spoiler territory here. What I like, they made a really smart choice with this. And the choice was that we're going to redo Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. But instead of historical figures, we're going to get historical music figures to come and form this band. Once they started, the daughters went down that road. I was like, oh, that's going to be super fun.
Yeah.
Now, the only, I have a lot of criticisms of the movie because, again, it's not a great movie, but it is fun. Is that those moments where they were getting the musicians, similar to Kevin's original, criticism of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, those moments weren't that fun. They felt kind of at moments a little laborious where you're like, oh, they should be, I don't know. They weren't as creative as I wanted them to be. I feel like they just needed to get there so that they could build up the heartfelt moment at the end when they have the USB card and they go, Preston and Logan, oh, it's not us, it's them. We're just there to play. And, of course, that backs up the story of we're here to play backup for our children's lives, our children's band, which I thought was very touching. But, that's the same reason why I resonated with that last Kevin Smith film with Jane Silent Bob Reboot, because that was basically the same theme of that bad boy, too. And so that worked out. And again, I think the movie would have been fun to watch without William Sadler. But the fact that they got him back and they have that amazing scene where everyone dies, and then Bill and Ted decided to get killed by the robot, who, by the way, Kevin, I don't know if you know the actor that plays the robot, but it's the guy from Barry.
Yep, the assassin from
Barry.
Great. Hey, Barry.
He's so good.
So weird to hear him without that accent, though.
I know. He needs to always have the accent. It really sells the comedy. But the scene they go to death is so lovely because it's basically just like, it really is. It does feel like that jaunt down nostalgia lane. And I love his dope ass house in hell and how he's just like still rocking it and killing it. And it's great. The movie kind of gets in, gets out. There's moments where I wish they had another $10 to $15 million to really flesh out some of the stuff. But then again, who cares? Whatever.
I thought that I was surprised at how much I enjoyed some of the visuals. Like when they're in hell, like it also the Future City. The
Future City didn't look that great to me though. The Future City looked like they could have used a little bit more on that bad boy.
There are a couple shots in the Future City when they're like in front of that hall of like guitars where they're like make the song, where it's like, ooh, the king here is not great. Like you're getting a lot of edging here. But there were other shots where I was like, oh, this looks so much better than Bogus and Excellent Adventure, which I mean, obviously with the times, but like even for back then, I still think that they didn't look great.
That was our opinion, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the audience right now. Chris wrote it and said, Bill and Ted Face the Music excellently recaptures the spirit of the original two movies. It was great seeing Alex Winter and Keanu back in these roles, and the actresses playing their daughters stole the show. It wasn't a perfect movie, but it didn't have to be. It just had to be a Bill and Ted movie, and in that, I'd say it was successful.
In that vein, it's interesting that they didn't bring back the princesses as the actual princesses they used, because Missy was the same. A bunch of people they cast were the same.
Well, they brought back the dad, which was great. They brought back the brother, who I think was the same actor. What's funny is I don't think the princesses in the first movie and the second movie were the same actresses either.
Oh, really?
I think they recast them too for some reason.
That makes more sense because the scene is so short with them in it.
Yeah.
Also, what a ludicrous idea that these princesses just get taken out of their time because, like, they were gonna marry lame people.
Well, I like that. I like that here in that. I like that it kind of plays out where they're like, "You took us out of our time, and now we're not happy, so it's on you guys to figure it out." And you really do feel that mounting pressure to perform and to get this thing done that they have to get done. And I, by the way, I love the idea of. There's so many fun little moments in this that barely work. But one that nailed that they like, so like when I say barely work, I mean like I'm like, all right, you got me on this one. You got to giggle out of me. Kid Cudi being
oh my god,
the guy who understands quantum mechanics to me was I'm like that's a solid choice, guys.
I feel like that served multiple purposes. One, just being its own joke that was I thought hilarious, and then the other kind of showing that the daughters were brilliant as well, because obviously they kept having like conversations about music that were like on a level that was meant to be really high, but then them going and talking about like theories on what's going on in physics in the world, I thought that was well placed and made you kind of think, oh, like these people know what's up.
Well, not only that, but it's just the absurdity of the whole thing, right? I mean, and that is what a Bill and Ted's movie should be, where anything can happen and does, and the rules of the movie are like, we'll establish them. Will we live by them? Who knows? I mean, the fact that these characters just suddenly have this unbelievable advanced knowledge of quantum mechanics and quantum theory is like, sure, why not? Because in the first one, he was like, hey, we'll just go forward and remember to leave the key for ourselves and it'll be right here. And they look down and the key's there. It's like, fuck it. Well, who cares? Let's just get, you know what I mean? This is just for shits and giggles.
And then they bring that back on the second one. I kind of wanted them to go and actually do all those moments. I thought it'd be really fun.
I know. Like a montage at the end.
Yeah, stolen the keys and...
Yeah. And then, of course, the way this movie culminates, I just, to me, if you again, it's all cheesy. And if you're not a Bill and Ted's fan, you're probably like, why the hell are these people talking about this movie? But I shed a little bit of a tear when the whole world started playing the same song. And they figured out a legit, decent way to do it where they were like, hey, he could do this because of quantum theory and all these things. And I was like, I buy it, Kid Cudi. Let's do it. And we just see him handing instruments to everyone plays it. And then all is right in the world and everyone's unified, and it's because of Bill and Ted and their daughters. It's silly, but man, it got me in the heart for sure.
Kevin, are you the one that hates the girl that's in this that's the daughter?
No,
Samara Weaving?
Samara Weaving is one of my favorite actors.
No,
The
the woman who plays George Rufus's daughter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
No,
I don't like her. No, yeah, Rufus's daughter, I've never... Something about her... That character, that actor is very hit or miss, and I actually think she did well in this particular role. But a lot of times, I feel like she overacts in a Jim Carrey kind of way, and it can be a bit much.
I thought she was good in this one, and I love
her.
The fact that the whole time she's just fighting with her mother over text message. Where she's like, of course she would do that. Of course she's going to try to kill me with this robot. You know, it was just, I thought that was silly. Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff in here where you're like, let's not look too deep, because if we start pulling some of the stuff apart, we're gonna get overly critical in a movie that's not trying to be anything more than just silly. Yeah. Nerd Cadet had a couple thoughts too. He said, "Here's my thoughts on Bill and Ted Face Music. As a fan since the first, feel this is fitting end of the journey. The actors who play the kids, Bridget Lundy Payne and Samara Weaving, are just an endearing copy and paste of Bill and Ted, and I'm all for it. I would go for a spinoff down the road. Spoilers, they're probably gonna do that. The moment you realize Anthony Kerrigan from Gotham and Barry was Dennis Caleb McCoy. Yeah, that was a moment too for me. I was like, I know that voice, and then I looked it up and I was like, son of a bitch, that's awesome. I wish we would have had him with Adam
a little bit more, yeah.
And then he says, fitting Rufus George Carlin send off, more heartfelt than I was expecting. I know when we saw George Carlin in the booth, I was like, oh, fuck, that hit me.
Yeah,
that was really good.
The hologram, and like, what a fun way to do it.
I know.
And also they didn't really make too much of a thing of him, passing away, but that was cool. I like that moment a lot.
It was nice. And then he finishes, as I was saying, rather enjoyed, and this is a spoiler, of course, we've already spoiled it, the fact that it wasn't Bill and Ted we know who created the song. It was the children. They created Billy and Thea who put the song together, or that's how I saw it. And I think that's how you were intended to see it.
No, yeah, totally.
Where they were the ones, the prophecy or whatever it was that they would play the music, they would write the song that would unite the world, but they did it in sort of a roundabout way by creating two smarter, better versions of them, which we all hope to do here on out. And now, guys, we got to rank it. I got to be honest with you. We got to put this on the Nick list. Where do we want to put Bill and Ted Face the Music? Is it going to be good, bad, or bad? Kevin?
I want to say good, but like I know I'm lying to myself, and I'm going to put it good, bad. I'm good, bad is what
I think this is. To me, this Joey, what do you think?
I think it's good, bad. It's fun, but it's not good.
I think this is in my humble opinion, the epitome of why we have that middle deep category of good, bad. You know what you're getting yourself into. You get a big old tub of popcorn and some chocolate or some candy or whatever, or some junk food, and you're going to sit down and watch an hour and 30 minutes of silliness and watch Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter reprise these iconic roles. And if you don't have fun doing this, then man, you can't have fun doing anything. Or maybe you just don't like Bill and Ted. That's okay too. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, because we were going to do it this week, but Bill and Ted came out and that was a much better idea. We're going to do Good Time. Good Times? Good Time. Plural? Good Time. Starring Robert Pattinson. Of course, we were all acclimating ourselves to him because he is now the Batman. And in Batman we trust. All hail Batman. And I think you guys are going to do a good job. So everyone needs to get the fuck on board with Robert Pattinson. I'll just say that right now.
That's so funny that we're acclimating.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back next week to talk more movie stuff, what we've been watching, all that shenanigans. But go out and watch Bill and Ted. Let us know what you thought. Of course, if you want to be a part of this show, you can be a Patreon, just like Nerd Cadet did and Chris. They both went over to patreon.com, backed us at the $5 or above tier, and they wrote their reviews in for Bill and Ted Face the Music. Of course, if you don't have that many bucks to give, you want to just give us $1, you can do that too. We greatly appreciate it. And if you're like, hey man, I'm not going to give you guys any money, but I want to support you, you can just subscribe to this channel and watch all of our content every day, and go back and watch all of our back content, and then get everyone you know to do the same and subscribe, because we are closely approaching 300,000 subscribers, give or take. And that's going to be an awesome New Year's present for us if we can hit it. And remember, leave a comment in the comments below with what you thought of Bill and Ted's. I'd like to read through those and see. I'm sure you all liked them. And if you didn't, I will delete your comment from the record. No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. Nick, actually, I do want to see people's opinions of this, because I'm sure people who aren't Bill and Ted's fans are going to have some interesting words for this movie.
Real quick, Nick.
What were you going to say, Kev?
Maybe for next week's Bronze topic, we can ask them what they thought about the 3 episodes that came out of The Boys. Maybe a fun.
That's a great one. Yeah, let's do that. Let's write that in. And yeah, we'll talk about that because I'd love to talk about The Boys. That'd be great. Good call. All right, everyone. We're going to get going. Until next week, we'll see you online. Bye.